theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we are initiated.
I'm super excited!
It's that time of the week to show you guys what videos TikTok takes down and what videos TikTok keeps up based on the agenda they're trying to push. I'm getting real sick and tired of not being able to talk about my opinion on the internet. I'm getting real sick and tired of not being able to post about certain people that the information need to get out there. One example, Bill Gates. So I posted a video of Bill Gates at a meeting talking to government officials, army officials, all kinds of officials at this meeting. Nothing fake, nothing tampered with, a real video of him talking to them. Now, the only reason TikTok had a problem with this video is because he was talking about the jab. They took my video down for integrity and authenticity. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but somebody in this video is a worldwide serial killer, and the internet doesn't want anybody to know. It seems like the only video you get to share about Bill Gates is the one of him getting hit in the face with a pie, which is an excellent video. It's one of my favoriteest videos on the internet. Should have been a bullet. Bill Gates, I don't know what kind of hold you have on the internet, but your time will come. The rope is already set up at the gallows for you, and you will be hung for crimes against humanity. So no, I will not stop posting about Bill Gates. In fact, I will go out of my way, since you took my video down, find as many clips as I can of Bill Gates and repost that on this platform and other platforms like YouTube and Rumble. YouTube will take it down, just like TikTok, but I don't care. I push back when I get pushed.
Excuse me, on the left over here, we have individuals who are religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics. And this is the expression, RT-PCR, real-time PCR expression of the VMAT2 gene. Over here, we have individuals. So let me complete. So over here, we have individuals who are not particularly fundamentalist, not particularly religious, and you can see there's a much reduced expression of this particular gene, the VMAT2 gene. Another evidence that supports our hypothesis for the development of this approach. What you see
here is by spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from donning on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior. So we have some very, very remarkable data in this next slide. Here we have two brain scans. These are fMRIs. These are two different individuals with different levels of expression of VMAT2. On top is an individual who's a religious fanatic, an individual, and we've repeated this numerous times, that has high levels of VMAT2. Now, this individual down here who had low levels of the VMAT2 gene, this individual would self-describe as not particularly religious. In each case, these individuals were read a religious text. This individual lit up the right middle frontal gyrus, shown here, and that's a part of the brain that's associated with theory of mind. It's a part of the brain that has to do with intents and beliefs and desires. In marked contrast, here's an individual who would not particularly self-describe as religious, and when they're read a religious text, what you see is that this part of the brain called the anterior insula lights up. This is a part of the brain that's associated with disgust or displeasure on hearing something.
So you're suggesting I take a CT scan with me when I'm evaluating people to determine whether I put a bullet in their head?
So the data that I'm presenting here supports the concept that we're proposing, and I think that we would not propose to do CT scans or fMRIs on individuals out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan. The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene, and that would have the effect that you see here, which is it's essentially to turn a fanatic into a normal person. And we think that will have major effects in the Middle East.
How would you suggest that this is going to be
Well, so the present plan and the tests that we've done so far have used respiratory viruses such as flu or rhinoviruses, and we believe that that's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses, and we're quite confident that this will be a very successful.
But malaria, even the million deaths a year caused by malaria greatly understate its impact. Over 200 million people at any one time are suffering from it. Means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here just so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience. Those mosquitoes are not infected, but.
Health alert from the CDC. This after 5 confirmed cases of malaria in 2 states. ABC's Rena Roy joins us with more on this rare health advisory. Rena, good morning.
Janae, good morning to you. This is the first time we've seen malaria acquired locally here in the U.S. since 2003. And now the CDC is out with this rare health advisory. In Texas, one man speaking out about his experience with the serious disease.
This morning, for the first time in 20 years, the CDC sounding the alarm about locally acquired malaria cases here in the U.S. 4 cases of the mosquito-borne disease detected in Florida and 1 in Texas. National Guardsman Christopher Shingler tells us he became patient zero in Texas while stationed at the Texas-Mexico border back in early May.
I started having fevers and vomiting, and that was the first time I went to the hospital.
He was working on the Rio Grande River, where he was heavily bitten by bugs, including mosquitoes. A week and a half later, he says the symptoms began. The 21-year-old tells us he was initially misdiagnosed with a viral infection and sent home to recover.
After another week, it was not getting better at all.
That's when he went to the ER again in early June, diagnosed with malaria. Mosquito control trucks now spotted on Florida's Gulf Coast, crews spraying affected areas, some residents taking extra precautions.
I've had to be more careful using mosquito repellent, which I never used to do.
The CDC says malaria is serious and potentially fatal if left untreated. Officials calling the disease a medical emergency that should be urgently evaluated within 24 hours of symptoms, such as fever, chills, headache, body aches, and fatigue.
The people who are at highest risk are infants, the elderly, people with weakened immune systems, pregnant individuals, and people who may not have access to health care.
Now, the CDC says despite these 5 cases, the risk of locally acquired malaria remains extremely low in the U.S., and that the cases in Florida and Texas do not appear to be related. Guys.
Wow. That's even more alarming, though, that the cases don't appear to be
That's
related.
what I thought, too, yeah. And being from Florida, I mean, we always see little cases coming around with mosquitoes and things. Just really protect yourself. Take it seriously.
Exactly.
Because, obviously, this can have an effect.
Right, and that's 5 cases that we know about. They're
Exactly.
probably
Exactly.
more widespread. Rena, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be on the lookout for malaria in the U.S. Who would have thought?
All right, so we've got our favorite doctor today, and he's going to be cutting down 70 million acres of trees for climate change. Apparently, trees give off too much carbon, so they're going to be taking these trees and they're going to be burying them in the ground. They're not going to be using them for houses or any business. They're just going to be burying them for climate change. Yeah, 70 million acres of trees. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
You come to reproductive issues as an intellectual?
When I was growing up, my parents were always involved in various volunteer things. My dad was head of Planned Parenthood, and it was very controversial to be involved with that.
The time is 1:48. We are going back on the record. This is tape 3 of the videotape deposition of Bill Gates on September 2nd.
Mr. Gates, let me show you a document marked as Government Exhibit 390.
We go backwards.
The first message here purports to be a message to you and Mr. Moritz and Mr. Alchin on February 24, 1997 at 11:07 p.m. Do you see that?
Yes.
And it talks about a focus group report, and it says that most of the people in the focus group were Navigator users, and then it goes on to say about those Navigator users, quote, they said they would not switch, would not want to download IE4 to replace their Navigator browser. However, once everything is in the OS and right there, integrated into the OS, in their face, so to speak, then they said they would use it because there would be no more need to use something separate, close quote. You see that?
A cowardly sneak attack on one of the world's wealthiest men. The target was Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates, arriving for a meeting with community leaders. Watch what happens when a team of hitmen meet him first with a pie in the face. Gates was momentarily and understandably shaken, but he was not injured. The hit squad piled on with 2 more pies before one of them was wrestled to the ground and arrested. The others, for at least the moment, got away. Gates went inside, wiped his face clean, and made no comment. He then went ahead with his scheduled meeting. No word on the motive for this attack.